Welcome back into another preview video for the upcoming basketball season, or the current basketball season, as we've actually already gotten going. A number of teams have already played their first game. The first girls teams, anyway, have played their first games. This happens to be our final preview video, and we're going to take a look at Dunkerton. This isn't the final video. We've got two videos left. Dunkerton is the team that we're looking at. This is the girls' video. The boys' video will come up just following this, so make sure you stay tuned for that one, and once you're done watching this one. But if you've missed any of the videos that we've done thus far, we've done all the listening area teams. We've taken a look at both the boys and the girls from all those schools. So if you've missed any of them, make sure you go back and to give them a watch again. You can find them on my Twitter, Taylor from KWay. That's Taylor from KWAY. You can find them on YouTube as well. Just search for Taylor Knits, and you'll find my page. You'll find all the videos as well. They've gone down very, very well. And no doubt this one will as well, as we take a look again at Dunkerton. And we're going to take a look at the girls' side of things first and foremost. And before we take a look at what they've got coming back this season, we got to take a look at what they did last year. And it was a very, very successful season for Dunkerton last year, going 16-6. That's an outstanding record for the Raiders. On the girls' side of things, their loss, the loss that ended their season, I guess I should say, was a close one, a tight one with Iowa Valley. 46-42 was the final in that one. And the Dunkerton girls had a number of losses that were tight. In fact, most of their losses were tight. I think something crazy, like 4 or 5 of them were by 3 or less points. So, yeah, even their losses were they had a chance to win, and no doubt about it. So an extremely good season for the Dunkerton girls last year. They averaged 51.1 points a game, which is solid. The assist-to-turnover ratio, more turnovers than you would like to see, but not an incredible amount more. 267 assists to 341 turnovers. So it's not terrible at all. And clearly they were able to overcome that number of turnovers fairly easily last year for most of the season. And again, the ratio is not awful to begin with. I think they're going to have a little bit more trouble this year overcoming those turnovers, so getting that number down will be vital. I've said that for basically every single preview video that I've done thus far, but getting that number down a little bit I think will be vital for Dunkerton this year. They did pull down 30.8 rebounds a game, so almost 31 a game, which is a very solid number for Dunkerton. I think there's some room maybe for that to even improve just a bit, but it's a really pretty solid number. And then they were fairly even scoring-wise throughout the ball game as far as quarters go. Again, it was pretty even from first to the fourth quarter, so that's good to see. And then they averaged beating teams by 16.8, almost 17 points per game. So they were thrashing some teams last year, which is good. Obviously, that is fantastic. Now, the thing is that team from last year is not back this year, and in fact, a number of the players off of that team they will miss this season. In fact, just quickly looking at the stats that I have for me, I've got 4 seniors off that team, and they were all in the top 5 in scoring, and they're going to be tough. They're going to be tough to replace. There's no doubt about it. And maybe the biggest name that they miss, and I've got to apologize before I say it, she's a fantastic athlete. Really enjoyed watching her play multiple sports. I had the chance to talk with her a couple of times and really enjoyed my conversations with her. But I always forget how to say her last name. So if I get this wrong, if I get this name wrong, feel free to just trash me in the comments or on Twitter, whichever you prefer. I certainly probably deserve it. But here we go. Michaela Boshin, they lose her. Again, I really enjoyed watching her play, and she averaged nearly 14 points a game last year. She was excellent. I mean, she shot over 60% from the free throw line, which is very good. She shot nearly 48% from the field. You know, again, went for almost 14 points per game. She also led the team with nearly 8 rebounds a game. That's dang good. 14 points and 8 rebounds a ball game. If you can count on that night in, night out, you're going to be doing pretty good. You have to imagine She also was tied for the team lead in blocks. She did a lot for this team, did Boshin. Again, hopefully that's how you say it. She, again, was an excellent athlete, and making up for her will not be easy, not by a long shot. But Dunkerton also lose Maddie Howland, Hannah Jacobson, and Carly Tiesinger. None of those are particularly easy to make up for. Those other three all were in the 6-point range, 6 to 7 points is what they averaged. Jacobson also averaged 6.4 rebounds a game. There's a lot to make up for from that team that graduated last year. Those seniors that move on, that's a heck of a class for Dunkerton, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you replace those players. I will say the one player that had significant stats on last year's team, she's a good one. She's a very, very good one, and certainly one that you can build a team around. That's Caitlin Wilder. She'll be a senior this year, averaged over 12 points per game. She shot 41% from beyond the arc. And it wasn't like she was 4 for 10. No, she was 52 of 128. That's incredible. Nobody else. There were only 2 other players that made a three-pointer last year. Carly Tiesinger made 8, and Maddie Howland was 1 for 2. So Caitlin Wilder is an outstanding player, can absolutely shoot the rock. She is the leading returning rebounder at 5 boards a game. She also the leading returning assister, distributor, as she had 60 assists last year in 22 games. She can force turnovers. She led the team in that department and was tied with Boshin for the team lead in blocks last year as well. So she is an outstanding player. She is definitely a player that Dunkerton are going to be able to build around. Now, she averaged a little over 12 points a game last year. I think that number goes up. I think she may be scoring more, 15 plus. I think if she can get to about 15, I think that would be vital for this Dunkerton squad. Again, she averaged 5 rebounds a game last year. Get that up towards 7, man. I mean, I think she's got the opportunity to put up some, mean numbers. I think she's got the opportunity to put up some big-time numbers because she's going to be, in my estimation, options maybe 1, 2, and 3. I think getting the ball in her hands, which was was something that they did a lot of last year as well. But I think that's going to be a key this year, and I think a lot of the offense is going to be predicated on finding her some space and finding her areas to shoot and areas to get to the rim a little bit as well. The players that are going to be sort of around her, surrounding her, the other options, I guess, maybe the best of the rest is Lily Fetkether, who is a junior this year. She pulled down about 4.5 rebounds a game, which is good. That's going to be vital. Her rebounding is going to be key to helping out Wilder in that particular aspect of the game. Now, Fetkether averaged just 2.3 points a game, and Ashlyn Shimp, who will also be a junior, she averaged 2.2 points a game. So I think those 2 are probably the 2 that are going to be asked the most to step up their scoring and support Wilder in her exploits, I suppose. And maybe there's another name that I'm not thinking of that maybe we just haven't seen it from her just yet. I think there may be a couple others that step up, and they're going to have to. This schedule that Dunkerton are going to run it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. So, as Caitlin Wilder goes, I think that's how the Raiders are going to go. But just having a player of her ability and her skill level in the roster is going to make a big, big difference for this Dunkerton squad. And so looking at, where I would put these guys on my rating system, if you're unfamiliar with it, if I give them a 1, that means I think they're a state title contender. If I gave them a 2, I think they're a state tournament contender. A 3 would be a team that's looking just to finish with a winning record and see what sort of draw they can get in the postseason and maybe try to make a run that way. And a 4 would be a team that is rebuilding. And this is an interesting one. This is an interesting case, this Dunkerton girls squad, because as I mentioned, 16-6 last year, were very, very good. Even in their losses, extremely competitive. But you lose 4 of your 5 top scorers. That's never going to be easy to deal with. So I think that I've got them. Boy, I sort of hate to say this because when I say it, I think it's maybe going to sound a little more harsh than I want it to, but I've got them as a 4 because I think they are rebuilding. I think they are rebuilding. Now, I think there's a decent shot that they finish right around 500 because they've got a player like Wilder. But I just think that there's a bigger shot that they finish a few games below 500. Do I think they're one of the worst teams that I've seen? No, I don't think that. But I think that it's tough going from having multiple options on the court to having really just one. And maybe they won't. Maybe they'll develop some other options. And I haven't seen them in practice and what they're able to do. But I just think they're going to be in rebuilding mode. And hopefully, Wilder goes off and has a great season, and that can really keep this momentum going for the Dunkerton girls from that season last year. I definitely think they take a step back. I don't think they're anywhere close to 16-6. I think best case scenario, there may be a win or 2 over 500. I think that would be best case scenario. But if if they've really come together and figured out exactly what they're doing towards the back end of the season and get it really rolling towards postseason play, you never know. But I've got them as a sort of a rebuild of this year, but maybe sort of the top of that 4, maybe sneaking in to the 3. That's kind of where I've got this Dunkerton squad. So that's how I see it. If you disagree with me, definitely let me know either in the comments here on Twitter or comments here on YouTube or over on Twitter. Again, Taylor from K-Way is where you can find me on Twitter. If you've got comments or questions or concerns or whatever throughout the entire season, hit me up over there, and I love to have a chat with you. That's my feelings on Dunkerton girls. Remember, the boys video coming up just right after this, so stick around for that. And until next time, I am Taylor Nitz. Okay, bye.